All right. We are Linux, Linux, Linux. Mm, mm, okay. Oh, Linux, all right. Mm, uh, all right. Mm, God. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
which is also known as sudo or the sudoers file. We'll cover all that. And yeah, we're gonna assemble the Avengers and stop Thanos. We're gonna save the world. And when I say we, I mean we, because you're gonna do this with me. You're getting a free Linux lab right here in this video. Check the link in the description. Thanks to our
Already.
sponsor, Hack the Box Academy. It's seriously amazing, free to sign up. Hack the Box Academy is basically a training ground for hackers. Good hackers, mind. You. So if you want to follow along with me, learn how to manage users in Linux, and save the world, then click the link below, get signed up for free, and you'll have a you. So if you want to follow along with me, learn how to manage users in Linux, and save the world, then click the link below, get signed up for free, and you'll have a
Okay, okay.
So if you want to follow along with me, learn how to manage users in Linux, and save the world, then click the link below, get signed up for free, and you'll have a
Okay, okay.
Linux lab right here in your browser. And then of course, whatever else you want to learn regarding hacking, it's there. So check that out too. Also, Hack the Box Academy now has a student subscription, and you get out there. Hack the Box Academy, they every computer system has a user, including Linux. And
Okay,
Linux lab right here in your browser. And then of course, whatever else you want to learn regarding hacking, it's there. So check that out too. Also, Hack the Box Academy now has a student subscription, and you get out there. Hack the Box Academy, they every computer system has a user, including Linux. And Linux lab right here in
Alright.
And you know what? You're a user. To be able to log into the server, this Linux box, and do anything, you have to be a user on the system. Which user are you? Well, let's see. In a previous video, we showed this already, so let's go ahead and launch our terminal, our green or yellow box up at the top here. This is launching our shell. If you don't know what that is, we'll go back to the last video and watch that one. We talk all about it. To quickly see who you are, you simply type in who am I? And there you are, your user account. And you, as user 86527, can log into this Linux machine and do stuff. You can launch programs, play games, hack, create things, delete things. If you have the right permissions, we'll cover that here in a moment. You can do a lot of stuff as a user of this system, but not all users are the same. Now, hey, I've got some bad news. We're under attack. Our system, our Linux box here, we're being attacked by Thanos. That's his name, right? The bad guy from Avengers? Yeah, it's Thanos. He's attacking us. Bad guy Thanos is gonna snap his fingers and destroy all our user accounts, and we won't be able to have fun on Linux anymore. We have to stop him. But how do we do that? Avengers assemble. We need the Avengers, right? Let's call them. Do they have like a bat signal? I don't know how you call them. They just know they need help, right? Or that we need help. But they're not in our system right now. We have to create these user accounts to come and stop Thanos before he snaps. Anyways, let's start by adding the Avengers to our system. Let's start with Thor. He's my favorite. So the command will be add user Thor. And honestly, it's that simple. That's all we need. The command add user will obviously add a user, but it's not the only one that does this, by the way, just so you know. There's add user, and then confusingly, there's another one called user add, which they do both add a user, but this command right here is a little lazy. He doesn't do as much, whereas this command will do a lot. I'll show you the difference here real quick. We'll bring in our other Avengers. Anyways, let's add Thor real quick. Now I'm going to hit enter, but it's not going to work. Watch. Only root may add a user or group to the system. Now, what is root? I mean, root's another user on the system. If you watched our previous videos in the series, you would know all about root. Not Groot, root. But we're gonna temporarily borrow some power from the root, which he's also known as the super user. So what we're gonna do here is hit the up arrow to get our command back in there, add user Thor. We're gonna go to the beginning of our command and type in sudo. Or it's also often pronounced sudo, but it's spelt sudo, so I want to say that. This is kind of like saying please in Linux. Please do this. I'm getting superpowers to do this. Again, I'll explain more about that here in a moment. But anyways, this is going to work. Okay, cool. We got a fun prompt here. Let's put a password in for Thor. I'm going to say hammer. Type it in again. Hammer. Full name. I think it's just Thor. It'll ask you for all this random information. You don't have to put it all in. Just enter, enter, enter. Is it correct? Sure. And Thor's created. He is now a user on the system. But how do we know that? Where is he? Well, to find out what users are on your system, there's one simple place to look. I'm going to clear my screen real quick by typing in clear, or I can just do Control L. Whew, nice and clean. There's a file in the system that has a list of every user on this box or this system. We're going to use the command cat, which we learned before. We're going to cat the /etc/passwd. When we do that, here's what happens. Boom. Bunch of users.
And you said, okay. 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 Okay.
And just enter, enter, enter. Is it correct? Sure. And Thor's created. He is now a user on the system. But how do we know that? Where is he? Well, to find out what users are on your system, there's one simple place to look. I'm gonna clear my screen real quick by typing in clear, or I can just do Control L. Whew, nice and clean. There's a file in the system that has a list of every user on this box or this system. We're gonna use the command cat, which we learned before. We're gonna cat the /etc/passwd. When we do that, here's what happens. Boom. Bunch of users on our system. I bet you're surprised, like, where all these users come from. I mean, the first two we recognize, right? Or I mean, the last two. This one right here, where we do that, here's what happens.
/etc/ Oh my god.
Boom. Bunch of users on our system. I bet you're surprised, like, where all these users come from. I mean, the first two we recognize, right? Or I mean, the last two. This one right here is us, user, blah, blah, blah. And then Thor, the one we just created. There he is. All these other entries are indeed user accounts on this system, and they do serve a purpose. A lot of these you can't log in with, like right here. It says no login on this account. They do serve a purpose, and that's a topic for another video. Anyways, now real quick, what does all this right here mean? It's kind of gobbledygook, right? I mean, the first bit, we understand what it is, the username, Thor, and user, blah, blah, blah. But what's all this stuff after it? Well, just after the username, we have just an X sitting there all by himself. In fact, you'll see this on pretty much every user account appear. X, X. And what the X indicates is that your password is stored in a separate file called the shadow file. Or specifically, it's in a place called Etsy. Shadow. In Linux, we store our passwords in the shadows, where they're hidden, you can't see them. But for real, if we go to it real quick, we can actually look at it. Let's do cat, etc, Etsy, shadow. Oh, permission denied. We need some please. Sudo. There we go.
Okay.
And right here next to the username Thor, we have his password, which that's actually not his password. That's the hashed version. Topic for another time. Anyways, now just after X, we have two numbers, and they're the same. We have 1001 and 1001. What are those? Well, those are his IDs. The first one is his user ID, or UID. It's a number, which you can obviously see, it's 1001. The second one is his group ID. We'll cover groups here in a second, but just know that when we create a user in Linux, we both create a user and a group for that user. So we have a username named Thor. We also have a group named Thor, and the member of that group is Thor. And then after that, we got some like random filler stuff like his name and comments and stuff. And then after that, we have his home directory, where he keeps his hammer and his chest plate. I don't know what Thor has. His hair ties. For Thor, his home directory is in the same place that a lot of people's home directories are. Home, and then a directory called Thor. We'll look at that here in a moment. And then just after that, we have his default shell. When Thor logs into the system, what shell is he going to be given? Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at our previous video. But by default, when we created his user account with the add user command, it's going to be bash. So that is what all that gobbledygook means. Now let me show you what the user add command does, our alternative command, which is kind of weird. So we have Thor, he's pretty awesome, but we need some extra help. I think we need Iron Man. Yeah, let's get Iron Man in here. So we'll do sudo, and instead of add user, we're gonna do user add. And same as before, we'll just type in the username, Iron Man, and watch what happens here. It is different. It's simple. That's it. So remember, add user, like asks us, hey, put in his password, what's his first name, last name, what's his social security number, favorite flavor of ice cream, like all that stuff. This one just says, okay. You're like, what else? What do I do now? That's what I meant by saying that command is lazy, because he doesn't do anything but just say, okay, yeah, here's a user account. I'm not gonna do anything else, like set the password for you. Like, you can do that yourself. And I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But right now, Iron Man's created, but you can't really do much with him. So if we cat our password file again to see what user accounts we have in our system, cat/Etsy passwd. He's there. Iron Man is shown up. But there's a few things missing. Now, for example, he has the X there saying that his password's in the shadow file. But is it really? Because we didn't set a password, did we? Also notice here that his default shell is different. It's SH for shell instead of bash. So real quick, I want to take a look at the shadow file to see if his stuff is there. And that's interesting. You can see that he does have an entry in the shadow file, but it doesn't seem to be a password. And I don't think it is. But we can set his password real quick. Command to set a password for someone or change a password for any username is going to be password without the OR. I'll show you. So we'll need superpowers, sudo. Command is PASSWD. And then the username. So I'll type in Iron Man. And now we can set his password, Jarvis. There we go. He's got a legit hash there, so we know it's working. Now, one thing the add user command did not do for Iron Man is it did not give him a home. He doesn't have a house right now. He doesn't have a home directory. If I navigate to the home directory where all the user directories live, if I go cd/home, and I type in ls, I can see there are 2 directories there for Thor and then for me. But Iron Man, he doesn't have a home, dude. And that's one downside of using the user add command is, again, he's lazy. He doesn't do this kind of stuff. And if I jump into the Thor directory by doing cd Thor, and then LSing his contents, yeah, he's got a desktop, he's got templates. And if I do ls-al to reveal the hidden files, he's got a bunch of stuff going on in there, which we're not gonna get into right now. I mean, it is important, but right now we gotta save the world. Thor is here and he's coming. Clear our screen. Now, if we cat the password file again, Etsy passwd, I'm super annoyed that Iron Man's default shell is not the same as everyone else's. It's just sh. Let's make sure it is bash. We can modify his user account. New command time, are you ready? The command is user mod, which stands for user modification, and as you might expect, it will modify a user account. Now, there are a ton of things we can change. If you do -h for help to see, like, what can I do with this, it'll tell you a lot of stuff. And I'm not gonna cover everything right now, that'd take forever. And Thanos is here. So I'll do sudo, because we will need special permissions, user mod, and let's say I wanna change that shell for Iron Man. I'll do Iron Man, say that's who I want to change it for, --shell, and I'll say bin bash. Done. And if we cat the user, or cat the password file once more, welcome Iron Man, you now are using bash just like everyone else. And we can change other things too, like maybe his name. Like sometimes Iron Man isn't Iron Man, sometimes he's Tony Stark. So if we do sudo user mod once more, we'll use the switch -l, and then we'll put in the new information. Tony Stark, that's his new username, and then the old one, Iron Man. Done. So if I cat the password file once more, he's Tony Stark now. But we don't need Tony Stark right now. We need Iron Man. Let's change it back. Whew, okay, better. Okay, here we go. Now again, Thanos is here, and we need more than just 2 Avengers. Avengers assemble! Let's create more right now, real quick, fast. And that is where the user add command comes in handy, because you can add things really quickly. You don't have to go through a menu every single time. So we'll just do it real quick. And we also have switches to help us with that. If I do user add -h, we can do a lot of the stuff that the add user command does just in one line. So I'll do user add. Let's bring in Hulk, and I'll do a -m, which -m will actually create a home directory for him. So whereas Iron Man didn't get one by default. Almost forgot we need superhero permissions. There we go. Let's get Spider-Man in here. Loki, why not? Oh, we can't forget Captain America. And I suppose we'll need Doctor Strange. I don't like that movie that much. Didn't like it at all. Wasn't a fan. But he kind of played a key role, so we'll put him in here. So now, we have some Avengers. If I do cat Etsy password file, boom. We got them. They're here. If you've seen the movies, you know it doesn't go great at first. Thanos does get the power. He gets the gauntlet, or what is it called? Okay, the Infinity Gauntlet. Almost forgot. Actually, I did forget. I had to look it up. Thanos has the power, and he does flick his fingers, or snap his fingers and do some bad stuff. Now I'm gonna add the user account, Thanos. Whew, we're bringing him in. He's there. I'm gonna set his password real quick. Password, inevitable. Let's see if he's here. Yep, there's Thanos. Now here in Linux, the Infinity Gauntlet that gives you super awesome powers and has all the stones and you can flick your fingers and everyone disappears. In Linux, that's definitely the sudo command, or sudo. We haven't really dived into that. That's definitely the sudo command. You flick your finger in Linux. Whew, we're bringing him in. He's there. I'm gonna set his password real quick. Password, inevitable. Let's see if he's here. Yep, there's Thanos. Now here in Linux, the Infinity Gauntlet that gives you super awesome powers and has all the stones and you can flick your fingers and everyone disappears. In Linux, that's definitely the sudo command, or sudo. We haven't really dived into that deeply just yet, but right now we are. It's a command we use all the time. It stands for super user do. And essentially every time we use that command, it's like we're slipping on the Infinity Gauntlet, the super powerful glove, and this is the worst glove you'll ever see. We slip that glove on, and for one moment, we have powers to do whatever we freaking want. So the sudo command, or the sudo command, we're able to grab the powers of the super user, the root user, and use them for that command. Now the super user in the system, which is the root user, he's the boss. He can do whatever he stinking wants on Linux. He can change all the settings, he can delete all the settings, he can ruin everything, delete half your stuff. RMRF, man, that's what Thanos is gonna do. And if you can use the sudo command to impersonate him just for a moment, that's a pretty stinking powerful command. It's a command that you don't want to just give to anyone. You want to restrict that access. And by default, it is pretty restricted. Now, you can see that right now. We've been using sudo all day. We have the Infinity Gauntlet. We can put that sucker on and use it whenever we want to. But not everyone can use it. For example, Iron Man. He can't use it. We can actually pretend to be Iron Man real quick. New command time, you ready? The command is su. Su allows us to impersonate another user. We're actually switching users. We're becoming this user. So let's become Iron Man. I've always wanted to be Iron Man, let's do this. So again, the command is su. We'll do a space, a dash, or a tick, space, and then the username of who we want to switch into. Now real quick, by default, if you don't put anything here, just su space dash, it's gonna switch you to the root user, which we can do, like watch. And I don't know the root password. Actually, but we can do this. We can put our gauntlet on, put the Infinity Gauntlet on, sudo su space dash. I just became the root user. I just became the Infinity Gauntlet, which is kind of weird. You never want to become the Infinity Gauntlet, never log in as root. That's why we have sudo. So I'm gonna hit Control D, or we can just type in exit, or log out, either of any of those. So I'll just do Control D to become myself again. But anyways, back to becoming Iron Man. So I'll do su space dash Iron Man. Now doing this without the gauntlet on, I will have to know Iron Man's password. This goes for any time you use the su command. But if I were to use sudo and put my gauntlet back on, I don't have to put a password in. But anyways, I'll become Iron Man, put his password in, Jarvis. I'm Iron Man. Now Iron Man's pretty powerful, but he cannot use the sudo command. Let's try it real quick. I'll do sudo, and I'll try to add a user. User add. Let's try to bring in Pepper Potts, his wife, right? Yeah, wife. It's gonna ask for a sudo password. Okay, let's type in Jarvis. Things are looking pretty good, right? No, we're in trouble. You're not in the sudoers file. This incident will be reported. You're grounded, Iron Man. You can't do this. I do love that we're talking about Marvel and we have this Spider-Man line that comes in. Anyways, that's an overused line anyway. So real quick, what is this right here? The sudoers file, which is a very, very awkward phrase. Basically, this file, the sudoers file, defines who can use sudo, who can wear the gauntlet. Right now, Iron Man is not in that file, so he can't put it on. So what do you say we go take a look at that file? I know you're itching to, so let's do it real quick. Now the sudoers file is a very important file that you don't want to jack up. And you can jack it up, you can ruin your entire system by messing up the sudoers file. But there are some checks in place to keep you safe. Now normally in Linux, to edit a file, you might just use your default text editor, right? The one you love, like we might use Nano or Vim. But with the sudoers file, the best practice is to do, but with the sudoers file, there's a certain way we have to do it. Now we will have to use sudo to do this. So I'm gonna stop being Iron Man for a second. I'm going to Control D to log out of Iron Man. Okay, I'm me again. The command will be sudo. And then right after that, it'll be vi sudo. This is the only best practice recommended way to edit the sudoers file. So let's get in there and take a look. And it's not a crazy big file either. It's kind of simple in a way. So I'll hit enter, and we're in. And then I'll scroll down through this document to about here. Right here is where we're able to see who's got permission to do what. Obviously root can use sudo. And I'll explain what all this means here in a moment. And then down here in this section, we have allow members of a group sudo access, or sudo to execute any command. And then just below that, we have something else. We have a %, and then sudo. This actually is a group. And if you're a member of this group, the sudo group, well, you can do all this. And what this actually means is you can enter any command at all, and you don't have to enter a password, which is pretty dangerous, kind of risky, but it's okay. So if you're in this file, you have the power. And Thanos does have the power. Let's go ahead and add Thanos real quick. We'll pretend he's already in there. So just under root, I'm gonna add Thanos. So we'll start with the username, which is Thanos. The first option here is what systems can Thanos have ultimate power on? Well, it's the Infinity Gauntlet, all systems. And this would be if they're like multi-system situations, but, and then I'll do a space equals, not plus sign, equals all. And that all stands for all commands. Now, if you want to just give Thanos options to do one thing, like maybe add a user, we might do /sbin /user add, giving him access to that one command. We don't want to do that. Thanos has all power, all. And that's all we need. I'm gonna hit Control X to say I want out of here. Do I want to save it? Hit Y, hit enter to write it to that file, and Thanos is there. He's got the gauntlet on, he can do whatever he wants. Let's see if he can. We're gonna become Thanos for a second. So I'll do sudo su space dash space Thanos. Whew, we're Thanos right now. So let's do sudo user add. What's another bad guy he uses? Oh yeah, his daughter, Nebula. So let's bring Nebula in here. Does Thanos have access? Let's see. What's his password? Inevitable. Yep, it worked. So let's cat the password. File. Yep, there's Nebula. So Thanos has ultimate power. He's got the gauntlet on. And crap. He's about to snap. You ready? He's gonna delete half the population. In our case, half the Avengers we have here. To delete a user, new command time. It's terrible, but new command time. Coffee break.
So our process is very unique. One of the things that makes us different is the discovery process. We help our students and parents by pairing them with an academic advisor in the early stages, someone like me, that would understand the needs and the goals of the student, and then therefore tailor a program afterwards that would help the student meet their
New command time. It's terrible, but new command time. Coffee break. Second, I'm going to Control D to log out of Iron Man. Okay, I'm me again. The command will be sudo. And then right after that, it'll be vi sudo. This is the only best practice recommended way to edit the sudoers file. So let's get in there and take a look. And it's not a crazy big file either. It's kind of simple in a way. So I'll hit enter and we're in. And then I'll scroll down through this document to about here. Right here is where we're able to see who's got permission to do what. Obviously root can use sudo. And I'll explain what all this means here in a moment. And then down here in this section, we have allow members of a group sudo access, or sudo to execute any command. And then just below that, we have something else. We have a % sign and then sudo. This actually is a group. And if you're a member of this group, the sudo group, well, you can do all this. And what this actually means is you can enter any command at all, and you don't have to enter a password, which is pretty dangerous, kind of risky, but it's okay. So, if you're in this file, you have the power. And Thanos does have the power. Let's go ahead and add Thanos real quick. We'll pretend he's already in there. So just under root, I'm gonna add Thanos. So we'll start with the username, which is Thanos. The first option here is what systems can Thanos have ultimate power on? Well, it's the Infinity Gauntlet, all systems. And this would be if they're like multi-system situations, but, and then I'll do a space equals, not plus sign, equals all. And that all stands for all commands. Now, if we want to just give Thanos options to do one thing, like maybe add a user, we might do /sbin/user add, giving him access to that one command. We don't want to do that. Thanos has all power, all. And that's all we need. I'm gonna hit Control X to say I want out of here. Do I want to save it? Hit Y, hit enter to write it to that file, and Thanos is there. He's got the gauntlet on, he can do whatever he wants. Let's see if he can. We're gonna become Thanos for a second. So I'll do sudo su space dash space Thanos. Whew, we're Thanos right now. So let's do sudo user add. What's another bad guy he uses? Oh yeah, his daughter, Nebula. So let's bring Nebula in here. Does Thanos have access? Let's see. What's his password? Inevitable. Yep, it worked. So let's cat the password file. Yep, there's Nebula. So Thanos has ultimate power. He's got the gauntlet on. And crap, he's about to snap. You ready? He's gonna delete half the population. In our case, half the Avengers we have here. To delete a user, new command time. It's terrible, but new command time. Coffee break. Okay, I'm ready. Sudo user del or user delete. As you might expect, this command will delete a user and we'll take out Thor. Thor's gone. If we cat the password file, Thor, he's gone. Sudo user delete Spider-Man, gone. Bye, Doctor Strange, gone. And just like that, with a snap of his fingers, we're down to Hulk, Loki, and Captain America. Oh, and Iron Man too. There he is. And just when it seems hopeless, just when it seems all is lost, the Avengers have a plan. Ant-Man comes in somehow, quantum stuff. Anyways, we need the gauntlet. We need pseudo access to be able to bring Captain America back and all the other people got deleted. So let's do this right now. So we're gonna explore a new concept. We're gonna create a group. To do that, new command time. Here we go. We'll do sudo group add. And as you might expect, group add will simply add a new group. I'll do a space, I'll name my group Infinity Gauntlet. Did I spell that right? I don't care. That's what it's gonna be called. And the group is there. But how do we know? Where is that group at? Well, just like we have a password file to look at our users in the system, we have a file to look at the groups, and it's much more self-explanatory. It makes more sense. I'm gonna cat the etc group file. And there it is. Infinity Gauntlet right there, as well as every other group that was created for our users. I told you, whenever a user account is created, also they have a group created for themselves as well. Now what I want to do is make sure that the members of the Infinity Gauntlet group do have ultimate power, because you should. You have the Infinity Gauntlet on. So we need to add the Infinity Gauntlet group to our sudoers file. Let's do that real quick. So again, we'll do sudo vi sudo to edit that file. The only way to do it, don't you ever do it a different way. I'm just kidding, but seriously. Let's edit that file. We're gonna scroll down to where we were, and then right here. Right now we see that members of the sudo group can do whatever they want. And actually, real quick, let me show you. The reason we can do whatever we want is because we're members of the sudo group. If I do, actually, new command time. If you just type in groups, it'll tell you what groups you are a member of, the current user account you're logged in as. And here I'm a member of my own group, user 86527, and the sudo group, which gives me Gauntlet access. Anyways, let's make sure the Gauntlet does have the appropriate permissions here. So just under the sudo group, I'm gonna add %Infinity Gauntlet. Make sure you spell it right. I'll do a space and I'll pretty much copy the one just above it. I'll say all, which again is all systems, space, =, space. I'll say no password, which is NOPASSWD, like we see here. I'll do a colon and say all. Essentially it's saying you can do everything you want, all commands, and you don't need a password. You got all them stones. Anyways, so I'm gonna hit control. Now actually, you know what, real quick, before I do that, I'm gonna mess it up. Like I mentioned before, if you mess up your sudoers file, you could break the entire system. There is some checks in there that'll keep you safe. So if I just go blah, 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 and I hit Control X to get out of there, yes to save, hit enter, it'll say, whoa, 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 whoa. There is a syntax error right there. Not supposed to do that. What are you doing? What are you gonna do now? What do you wanna do? Are you sure you wanna save this? If I hit enter, it'll give me some options. I love this. It's like, you might wanna go edit it again, hit E, hit X to get out of there and don't save it. Just forget what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. Or it says, you know what? If you're pretty confident, just hit Q and say you wanna save it. Danger! Let's be smart. Let's hit E to edit it and remove that crap we put in there. And then we can hit Control X, Y, and enter, no errors. We're good. So, the Infinity Gauntlet group does have ultimate sudo super user do powers. And now what's left is the Avengers have to somehow become part of that group, put on the glove, and change history. And if you see the movie,
Yes.
spoiler alert, Iron Man, he does this. So we need to somehow get Iron Man into the Infinity Gauntlet group. Let's do that right now. Now, real quick, let's demonstrate that Iron Man can't do crap right now. So if I become Iron Man, and I try to bring back Spider-Man, I can't. I don't have the glove. I can't do it, man. Iron Man is helpless. Well, let's add him to the group. So to add a user to a group, pretty simple. We're gonna use the same command we used earlier to modify a user, the user mod command. So we'll do sudo, and keeping in mind I'm logged in as me now, not Iron Man anymore. I'll do sudo user mod. And the switch is -G. Now, -G by itself will add this user to a group, but it will add it to that group and kind of eliminate all other groups. You may not want to do that, so we often want to change this to -a capital G. The A stands for append. So this command here, we're appending the groups that Iron Man is part of. So just after -AG, we'll type in the group, which is Infinity Gauntlet, and then the user we want to add, which will be Iron Man. Just like that, Iron Man has the glove on. We can actually see if that's happening by going to, or catting the group file, etc group. And here we can see the Infinity Gauntlet group, the members over here on the right, and there's Iron Man right there. Now again, if you saw the movie, you know that Iron Man and Thanos were kind of wrestling with the glove. So Thanos was in the group too. They kept going back and forth. Let me add Thanos in there real quick. So yes, right now, Iron Man and Thanos are both part of this group. They both have super awesome, powerful pseudo access. But eventually Iron Man does wrestle the glove off of Thanos and puts it on himself. So new command time. How do you remove a user from a group? This
Okay, one sec. Video. Right. Let me just
command is called gpassword. The commands sometimes are weird. So we'll do sudo gpasswd. We're gonna do -D for delete. Specify the user we want to remove, which will be Thanos. Take that off. Take that, Thanos. Take it. And then we'll specify the group Infinity Gauntlet. Take that, Thanos. Look at the group once more. No one's in there. So anyways, Iron Man, he has the gauntlet. He snaps his fingers and he creates the users we lost. Let me become Iron Man. I am Iron Man. Sudo user add Captain America. Sudo user add Spider-Man. Done. We'll bring back Doctor Strange. And I forgot who else. But anyways, you get the picture, right? Iron Man has
Isn't it working? Um, mm, okay, but mm, delete. Mm,
Has the gauntlet on, he has the power, he's part of the group, and he can now bring back everyone. And shoot, while he's at it, let's defeat Thanos, right? Sudo, user, delete, Thanos. Here we go! Goodbye, Thanos. And then finally, Iron Man realizes the Infinity Gauntlet, it's too powerful for anyone to possess, so he destroys it. I think that's what happens. That's what we're gonna do right now. So using the principle of least privilege, we're gonna remove the Infinity Gauntlet group. We're gonna delete that group by doing the group delete command. In fact, Iron Man will do it himself right now, and he's gonna delete his access to do it at the same time, which is kind of weird, right? So sudo group delete, new command time, I forgot to say it, man. Which obviously means we're gonna be deleting a group, and the usage is pretty straightforward. Just after group delete, we'll enter the name of the group, Infinity Gauntlet. Now, this does not delete any users in that group, it just deletes the group. And gone are also Iron Man's privileges to do anything special anymore. For example, if he got greedy and wanted to create the group once more. Sorry, Iron Man, you don't have it anymore. And I think you have other problems to worry about. We did it! I think, like, we saved the world, right? I mean, Iron Man's not okay, but we learned how to manage users in Linux, and in the process, we assembled the Avengers and took away the Infinity Gauntlet, destroyed it, and saved the world. Yeah, but seriously, we learned a lot today. We learned how to manage users in Linux, add them, delete them, groups, permissions, all that. And that's essential to managing a Linux system, to becoming a hacker, to doing anything with Linux now, and pretty much every area of IT involves Linux. And also, if you want a quick review of what we covered in text form, mosey on over to Hack the Box Academy, the page we were at the whole time, and look it over. They've got the commands we talked about in text form, and they also have a delightful quiz at the very bottom to test your knowledge and see how you do. And if you get it right, you earn cubes back, which, what the junk are cubes? Go watch episode 1 if you don't know what they are. Also, if you want to test your skills even further, I've got a quiz in the description below. It's free, click the link, and let's see what you got. And again, huge shout out to our sponsor, Hack the Box Academy. It's free to access right now to do what we've been doing here. If you want to go further and learn how to hack WordPress and do Python stuff, and just, man, just so many things, check them out. Link below. I'll catch you guys next time.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
So how do you install stuff on Linux? Like if you want to install software, programs, or hacking tools, What do you do? If you're fairly new to Linux, you might be a bit lost. Don't worry, I got you. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to install pretty much anything on Linux. Everything from common tools that everyone uses to even some custom hacking stuff that other hackers create you can download on GitHub. How do you do all that? Let's get started. This is episode 5 of Linux for Hackers. And everyone, because everyone needs to learn Linux. In this episode, we're covering Linux package management, or basically how do you manage all the software and the programs on your Linux machine. And I'm gonna do my best to cover pretty much everything, so if you're looking for any particular way to install something, check the timestamps, jump to it. Also, I want you to do this with me. Every command I type, everything I install, do it with me. The best way to learn anything is hands-on, especially Linux. And you can do that for free right now, thanks to our sponsor, Hack the Box Academy. Get signed up for free at the link in the description and you'll get access to a Pwn box, which is as cool as it sounds. It's basically a Linux computer that you can use right here in your browser. It's amazing. And it's free. Like, yeah, just do it. Just do it. Also, what the junk is Hack the Box Academy? Well, I like to think of them as Hogwarts for hackers.
You're a wizard, Harry.
They teach you how to become a hacker from zero to whatever you need to be. It's awesome. They also recently came out with a student subscription, so if you are a student, you get a discounted rate and you get CPE credits for completing tier 1 modules and above. It's awesome. Check it out, link below. So, get your Pwn box ready, grab your cup of coffee. What are you drinking? I'm drinking NetworkChuck.coffee. Check it out. Let's get started. Oh, and by the way, have you hacked the YouTube algorithm today? Let's make sure you do. Like this video, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Let's hack YouTube today. Ethically, of course. Oh. Let's get started. Okay, as always, get logged into Hack the Box Academy and launch the Linux Fundamentals module right here. And today we're gonna be focusing on package management, which is right around here. So go ahead and click on that. Now again, freaking fantastic stuff right here, but the stuff you wanna look at right now with me as you follow along this video is right around here. Scroll down, click on Start Instance to start your killer awesome Pwn box. And while that's brewing, perfect time for a coffee break. And mine is ready. I want to jump in there and get this party started. So in Linux, the stuff we want to install are apps, are programs like, Discord or Firefox or Minecraft. Anything we want to install is contained in something called packages. We install packages. Packages are the thing. Packages, packages, packages. Sorry, I've already had too much coffee today. No such thing as too much. How do we install these packages? Well, as you may have guessed from the intro, it's something called a package manager. Now, there isn't just one package manager. Of course, there's not just one. It wouldn't be that simple, right? It's not. There are two main ones we see all the time, though. One is called DPKG, or dpackage. That's the way I like to say it. The other you'll see all the time is APT, apt. Now, I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. Apt is awesome. It's super easy to do. You can install things in a flash, no worries. But I'm not gonna show you that one just yet. You gotta earn that. You gotta pay your dues. I'm gonna show you the harder way first so you can appreciate what this is and what it does for us. Don't you wanna do that? Yes, I'm answering for you. So first I'm gonna show you dpackage, or DPKG. I said it right that time. Now I say hard, it's not too crazy, but it does look stupid compared to APT. It's referred to as a low-level package manager because it's kind of, and this is my opinion, kind of dumb. I mean, sure, it'll do the job. It'll install your software. It'll install your packages. It'll uninstall or remove them. But it has two major, huge flaws that I hate. So let's go ahead and launch our terminal, our shell, the green or yellow thing up here, and we're gonna install our first application, Discord. And it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult because we're using the more difficult way of doing this. And already we've hit our first flaw because to install Discord, we have to go find it and download the package. So let's go ahead and launch our web browser. We'll go to discord.com, click on the little side panel over here and click on download. We'll scroll down and right here we have download for Linux. Click on that and it's gonna say, Deb? Who's Deb? I'll explain here in a minute. Click on Deb. Now instead of open with, I want you to do save file. Just work with me here. Click on that, save file, and then click OK. And it should go pretty stinking quick. So now we can close Firefox and get back to where we love being, our terminal, our bash shell. Yes. First thing we want to do is get to our downloads folder. If we type in ls to list our contents of our stuff here, we have a downloads folder. Let's cd to that. So cd downloads, type in ls to see what's inside, and there's our Discord right there. Our Discord Debbie. When you see .deb, that's the file extension for packages in Linux, specifically Debian-based, which is what we're on right now. We're using Parrot OS, which is a Debian-based system. It's sort of like .exe you see on Windows and .dmg you see with Mac. Now, if you do happen to be on another Linux system that's maybe not Debian-based, maybe it's CentOS, maybe it's OpenSUSE, Red Hat, instead of .deb, you'll see .rpm. But we're not going to cover that today. We're going to cover Debian-based systems. So, how do we install Deb here? Our Discord server, or not server, our Discord application. It's pretty straightforward, actually. We'll type in dpay, I'll never get this right. dpkg for dpackage. We'll do a -I for install, and then we'll specify our package. There it is. That's simple. But no, it's not though. No, you can do this, but it's going to fail. Let's do it anyway. This is going to reveal the second major flaw with dpackage. Oh wait, that wasn't it. we do need sudo privileges. If you don't know what sudo means, go watch episode 4. So sudo dpackage. Let's do that now. Flaw coming. So far so good? Looking good, right? Whoa, 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 whoa. Error. I hate seeing errors. Problems. More specifically, dependency problems, and that's the second major flaw with dpackage. You see, most packages in Linux, they depend on other packages to work. For example, Discord here, if I scroll up a bit, Discord depends on the libappindicator1, which is not installed, and the libc++1, and it's not installed. Those are two packages that have to be installed for Discord to work. So dpackage, the dummy's like, hey, yeah, sure, I'll install Discord for you, but it needs two other things, and it's just not gonna work. Sorry, you need to go get those two other things yourself. Get lazy. So yeah, sure, we could go out and find these and install it using dpackage, but that's stupid. And this is where apt shines. It's better. Let's talk about apt. apt is beautiful, and if you've ever installed anything on Linux, any kind of Debian-based system, you've probably used apt before. It stands for Advanced Package Tool, and when comparing that to dpackage, duh, it's advanced. Dpackage is stupid. Anyways, it has its place. Sometimes you may have to install something manually with a .deb file. Whatever, we'll get to that, why that is in a second. Coffee break for a second, real quick.
How do you stop paying your power bills and begin generating endless power off the grid? You use this simple at-home device that pulls energy from the ground beneath you. Do not buy solar panels or any other energy alternative until you hear about this strange new device. It's the perfect off-the-grid energy source to power your home, especially in case of an emergency. So if you don't want to keep using the unreliable power grid, or you're just tired of relying on the big energy monopolies, listen up. There is a new at-home device.
Let's see their website. Make sure some Minecraft. No.
That can give you complete energy independence. It's powered naturally using clean energy and allows you to create your own personal power source. And the best part is you won't have to shell out 5 figures for a
So let's install something with apt. Now, first thing we're gonna do real quick, new command time. We'll do sudo apt, and we'll do the command update. I'll explain that here in a moment. Just go ahead and do it. Let it do its thing. Now time to install something. So do sudo apt. This time instead of update, we'll do install, and then we'll just name the program or package we want to install. I'm gonna install an old favorite, Pigeon. Remember Pigeon? The open source instant messaging app. So instead of having to specify the .deb file, instead of talking to Deb, all we have to do is reference the package name, which is Pigeon, and that's it. Now, it's not gonna work. And it's not his fault. It's actually dpackage's fault. I'll show you. apt was smart. It went out and found everything, but then it's like, whoa, hold on. Discord, we noticed that it's kind of broken. We don't have the dependencies of the lib indicator and the C++. You might want to fix that. Dumb old dpackage. But it even gives us a way to fix it. apt fix broken install. It'll fix Discord for us. So let's do that real quick. I'm just going to copy that command. apt fix broken install. Let's paste that in there. I'll do a Control A to get to the front of my command and type in sudo right before it. And let's fix some Discord. It's gonna install those 2 packages. Hit enter. Thank you, apt. So I fixed that. I'm gonna clear my screen and let's try to install Pigeon once more. Up arrow twice, or 3 times, 4 times. There we go. And let's hit enter on Pigeon right now. Now real quick, before I hit enter to say, yeah, let's continue this, let's scroll up just a little bit here. Notice it's not only installing Pigeon. Super smart, amazing apt goes, oh, hey, we have some dependencies. The following new packages will also be installed as well. And it's kind of a lot, right? But it's gonna do it for us, which is what you expect. That's like, you
I have the jar file in my downloads. Uh,
You want that to happen, so let's go ahead and do that. Hit enter. Coffee break, very short. I love this. Actually, long coffee break is kind of long, isn't it? And that was it. I want to try launching Pigeon just by typing in Pigeon. Look at that. I'm not going to use it, but that was pretty cool, right? Way easier than dpackage. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but APT is a high-level package manager, which basically means it's easier for us to use. Now, one of the main differences between itself and dpackage is that dpackage required us to download the .deb file, the actual package file. APT doesn't need that or use that. As you saw in our example, APT just needed the package name. But how does that work? APT will rely on a thing called a repository. A repository is basically a storage location, or essentially just someone's server that has a collection of all the software that we might want to use. The most common stuff anyway. So when we typed in apt install pigeon, apt went out to his repository and goes, hey, where's this pigeon thing at? You got it? And the repository said, yep, here it is. Go ahead and download it. It's good. And going back to that first command we entered, what was it? Do you know what it was? The first command was apt update. And what that did is apt went out to the repository and said, hey, give me all those packages. What you got there? I want a list of everything you have. And the repository replies with a list of everything he has. And by the way, this is something you want to do every time you install something. Before you say apt install whatever tool you want to install, do apt update to update your list of stuff, because these repositories are owned by someone else and they're regularly updated. There are a lot of repositories out there. Which ones are we using? Well, let me show you. There's an easy way to do this, and we'll use the apt command here as well. New command time. The command will be, and we're going to always start with sudo apt space edit dash sources and hit enter. And it's so nice. It asks us what text editor we want to use. Nano, my favorite one. I don't care. Now Parrot pulls like a bait and switch. Normally you'll have your list of repositories in this file. Parrot's like, nah. We put our stuff somewhere else. It tells us the Parrot repo is located at this location right here. So I want to do right now is just highlight that, copy it, go ahead and do that. Located at this Parrot apt command here as well. New command time. The command will be, and we're going to always start with sudo apt space edit dash sources and hit enter. And it's so nice. It asks us what text editor we want to use. Nano, my favorite one. I don't care. Now Parrot pulls like a bait and switch. Normally you'll have your list of repositories in this file. Parrot's like, nah. We put our stuff somewhere else. It tells us the Parrot repo is located at this location right here. So I want to do right now is just highlight that, copy it, go ahead and do that with me. Let's Control X to get out of this file. And we're going to cat that file. So I'll type in cat, paste that file there and hit enter. I must not have highlighted the entire thing. Yeah, it's parrot.list. Oh yeah, I forgot the list, .list. There we go. And actually instead of cat, let's go ahead and just nano that. So I'll do sudo nano, just so we can see it a bit cleaner, I think. .list. Yeah, that's better. So right here we have a list of servers or repositories that apt will look to pull packages from. Notice it does have the DEB preface before it. And what do you say we go check it out real quick? We can actually just click on that link here. Control click. Yeah, that's what it was. Control and click. We're browsing the repository. So if I jump into the pull directory right here, go to, let's say the main directory. We got a bunch of stuff in here. Let's go to the ends. Let's go to N. And look, there's nmap right there in the repository. So when you do sudo apt install nmap, it looks at that repository and goes, oh, there it is. Let's pull that down. Now, sometimes the tool you want to install is not in these repositories. Like for example, this is the one that's provided by Parrot OS. What do you do then? Well, most of the time these tools will have an alternative way to install it. We'll cover that here in a moment. Or they'll have their own repositories that you can add to the sources list. They'll document it for you. They'll say, hey, here's our source. Add that to your sources list, do a sudo apt update, sudo apt install, you're solid. Now you ready? New commands with an S, time. apt has some cool stuff we can do with it. Now first, always, you can do sudo apt-h. What the heck am I doing here? It'll tell you some stuff you can play with, some of the switches you can use. Let's walk through a few real quick. Sudo apt list will list all the available packages in your, I can't talk, repositories. You can also do apt list -- install to see what your system is installed with. Very handy. If you want to search through that list, just do a pipe at the end of that, pipe, type in grep. We'll explain that sometime in another episode. And then just search for something. Like let's search for, let's say, anything that begins with nmap. And there it is. Nmap is installed right there. Let's say you want to learn more about what tool tools you have installed. Like what the junk is that? What does it do? You can do sudo apt show, or show me what it is. Let's just say nmap, show nmap, and it'll dang tell you, the network mapper, and it tells you all about it. You can also do apt search, and let's just say again, nmap, and it's gonna search through the description of a lot of stuff and show you all the stuff. And that's an easy way to search through a bunch of packages. Now we covered how to install packages, but how do we remove stuff? How do we uninstall something? Two ways. apt is still the guy for this. So sudo apt, new command time, remove. Pretty self-explanatory, so if we wanted to remove pigeon, just type that in, hit enter, and it's gonna say, whoa, 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 are you sure? And I'm gonna say no, not right now, because I got more to tell you. Remove is kind of a safe command because it'll remove the application, but not your user data. Basically, the config you might have put into the application. So if you removed it accidentally or you want to reinstall it, all that stuff will still be there. Now, if you're confident you don't want this dumb app anymore, you want it gone, you can use a different command, the purge. So we'll swap out remove for purge. It just sounds so intense. We're gonna purge pigeon. This will remove everything, and let's go ahead and do that. So if we do our command that we learned earlier, sudo apt list -- installed, we'll grep for anything that begins with pigeon. So it did remove the main package, but not this secondary one, the pigeon data. So I wanna remove that real quick. Let's purge pigeon data, and let's see if pigeon's here now. No pigeon here. All right, two more useful commands with apt. First, sudo apt upgrade. As you might imagine, sometimes your applications, your packages get updates. You would hope they get updates. And this is the way to update those packages. Now, normally you'll see this command combined with the update command. So you might see it like this, sudo apt update to go to the repository and say, repository, can you tell me if the packages have been updated? Otherwise you wouldn't know about it, right? So update that, and then you'll see an and, which allows us to do two commands in one line, which is awesome. Sudo apt upgrade. So check the repository and then update everything. Now there is another version of this. Now upgrade will just upgrade your applications if they need upgrading. Another one is full dash